guys, Tomboy601, and today we're taking out the all-new Tier 4 tech tree Italian battleship, the Cavour, and the sentiment has been said in the community, and I'm kind of inclined to agree. This may be one of the worst ships at the tier. It is a rough one. You have to play it a very specific way, but it does have some very interesting upsides to it, and we have a fantastic game showing off the ship and also just teamwork in general, because we have to play smarter and not harder in this one. Anyways, we're running Paolo di Revel because he's the only battleship commander while this video was being recorded. I'll throw up the build real quick. And, well, we spawned on the A side, so we're pushing A. We kind of have to secure this area. It is domination, so we want to do our best. Cavour has the distinction of having the most guns of any battleship at the tier. 13 guns in total, which is a huge amount. It is a truly massive amount of guns, and we plan to use them. Now, the ship does have better firing angles to its reverse than its forward, so you're going to see what we do over here. We're starting to turn out. We're trying to get ourselves angled so that our armor is in the most effective position, and then we're just gonna pop this boy into reverse. And we're gonna do that for two reasons. One, we know that our armor is decent enough in the reverse. Two, we can slowly edge our way towards the enemy battleships, which we want to because, well, it's an Italian battleship. We have SAP secondaries, and if we can get those SAP secondaries engaged and in range, we're going to have, the enemy ships are going to have a very bad time. And the third reason is, well, when you back into a battle kind of like this, what you're also going to do is allow yourself an easy way to escape. And you kind of need to plan ahead, especially with Cavour, because not only do you have all these guns that take a long time to reload, but you also have an extremely slow turret traverse, which means if you need to shift the way your turrets are facing from one side to the other, be prepared. It's going to take forever to do it, and you're definitely going to lose out on precious shots. And they are very much precious shots when it takes nearly 30 seconds on each reload. So be prepared and understand that you need to plan ahead in Cavour. But when you plan ahead correctly, it looks beautiful. Anyways, we're finally backing in, about to get Brittany into the range of the secondaries when, well, our cruiser does a very good job of laying off the torps. When we see that, we go ahead, throw the ship into full forward because, well, we have cleared out A. The enemy Cavour is in retreat, and it is time for us to capture A. Now, sadly, while all that was happening, it appears our team has just been devastated over at C, and the enemy team has employed what can only be called the black hole strategy, the Charybdis strategy, the let's all clump together in one zone strategy. And, well, it appears to be working for them down on that side of the map because they are steamrolling through our team down there, and there is nothing they can do. We lose our Omaha down here, and I don't think our destroyer has much longer, and when he does that, we are going to be left with not much left as far as reserve ships. So we have to be starting to play this a little smart. Of course, our first goal that we began with, that we started with, was to capture A, and we do intend on going through and doing that right now, and that's exactly what we're going to push into. Of course, Cavour also very slow in the top speed, so everything takes a minute in Cavour. It is a ship that requires planning, and you do just have to sort of respect that. So we're finally getting into A. We can see our friendly cruiser is also pushing into A with us, which of course is going to boost the capture rate. Going to cut, when there's two ships in the capture area, it does tend to cut the amount of time it takes to capture the area in half, which is excellent because that means we can kind of just immediately start a turn to our port and start steaming towards B, because at this ship count at present, we are going to need every little point that we can get, because, well, there's two ways to earn points in this game. One, you capture the points and you get 3 points every couple of seconds for each capture point. The other option is to sink enemy ships, and guess what? The enemy team is handing it to us in the sinking our ships department. They have, you can see, they have a handy lead in points right now, and we need to stem the tide. So we have A, that is going to help us a ton. We've equalized as far as the rate that the enemy team is gaining points. We've neutralized that delta, but we need to turn that delta in a positive favor for us. And it's not looking good, because you can also see that clump of enemy ships. Well, it is very much near our aircraft carrier. And then there's the three of us down here. So this is going to take some fancy maneuvering and some fancy playing for us to win. We're going to go ahead and continue to take these pot shots at the enemy Cavour. He is at our very extreme ranges. Italian battleships, not exactly the most accurate ships out there. Thankfully, our New York is able to finish him and wipe him off the map, which means we don't really have to concern ourselves with him anymore. But now we can go ahead and move into B. We can see Hawkins has a similar idea. He's faster than the rest of the ships in his little flotilla down there. So we are going to begin to turn our turrets and get ready to engage the Hawkins. We want to come in under this island up here, just so that we continue to have as much coverage as possible from these enemy ships. One other nice thing about Cavour is its front-facing guns, and it's you have 5 barrels at the front of your ship. So you have what would be a good amount of guns to begin with off of your stern or your rear, or you're off your bow or your stern. So you do have the versatility where you don't always need to go broadside. You just kind of want to, and you have to fight that urge, because, well, you have a decent number of guns, even when you are bow in on an enemy, and that's exactly kind of the urge we have to fight. And, well, now we're finally slowly getting into B. Now Hawkins has already reached into B. We do need to be wary, because he does have torpedoes, and I'm sure he intends to use them. We can see he is steaming ahead, trying to kind of keep the island between us and him. Our turrets slowly turning. You saw when we decided to make these turrets turn, well, they finally got over to the other side. We hit a citadel shot right there. We hit another citadel there, and now we just need to slowly get him into range of our secondaries, and we can see we're going full turn in. We want to get closer to him. We're assuming that he's already launched his torpedoes, but even if he hasn't, we want to make ourselves the smallest target possible. Torpedoes off to our starboard side, thankfully passing without much harm. We can see the red shells flying from our secondaries, which is good. We know we are in range. He's coming to flip his other bank of torpedoes, which could be devastating to us. Of course, we don't know if he's firing single or in his usual, what would be his widespread, but is actually his narrow spread. We see the torpedoes come out side by side, which means he fired them in his wide spread. We're just waiting on one of these guns to turn, or if we could just get the secondaries to finish him. Thankfully, secondaries finish him. We're still spotted, but we are now alone in the cap. We can go ahead and take it out. Now, while we were doing all of that, we lost our carrier, and well, our one cruiser has gone off and decided to chase the enemy carrier, and I don't really blame him. Carriers can be very influential, and especially when we get down to these last seconds of a game, they can concentrate the few remaining survivors and just make their lives hell, and that's exactly what that cruiser going after that carrier is preventing from happening. So I do really appreciate his effort right here. We're going to stay in the cap, try to make sure we don't get hit so we don't get reset in the cap. We have this Wyoming sailing what is essentially flat broadside to us, and we can see what sort of damage we can get out of him. I don't think we end up getting much. Just, oh, we get 6 pens, which is decent, a good chunk out of him. It is one of the things with Italian battleships. You have good shell velocity, but sometimes you get magical dispersion that just really ends up harming you. Now we can see off our stern are 2 ships, a battleship and a cruiser, that we need to start paying attention to, because, well, they have more of our broadside. That Wyoming not paying us much attention. He's more focused on trying to get the ship that is attacking their carrier. I don't blame him, but while he is concentrated on that, we're going to take this opportunity, show him the broadside. As we flip around, we see a Phoenix, which is very vulnerable, a floating citadel if you have ever seen one. We can actually see Wyoming did end up taking a couple shots, but we are nose in on him. Congo sailing broadside to us. We're going to go ahead and greet him with our 13 shell salute, get the high caliber right there, and wait for the turn. The Phoenix is who we have to concern ourselves with right now. So we have 2 of the capture points, and we have closed the gap. Remember before when we kind of drew attention to it, we were like 400 points under. Now we are within 100 points in striking distance, which is which we can absolutely do within 3 minutes. However, that Phoenix is playing to win, and he understands that A is uncontested. He can easily float himself into A. Once he floats himself into A, he stops positive point accrual for us. So that could easily turn the tide. Congo continuing sail broadside. We get another decent hit out of him, knock out one of his guns. Us and our friendly battleship are trying to knock down this Congo. We see the Phoenix pop up, but he is just outside of our range, and he's at the point where if we do fire at him, they're probably going to be wasted shots, because by the time they get to him, they'll just splash meaninglessly in the water. So Congo is who we are going to try to focus on. Königsberg, our friendly cruiser, making another charge at a battleship. He's already done this several times this match, where he's kind of used the torpedoes as a suicide charge. Oh no, it's not even a Königsberg, it's Giuseppe. He decides to ram him, takes him down, which is a huge play for us. And now our biggest concern is that Phoenix. We are 2 ships versus 3. We are within 100 points. If either of us go down, that is game for us. That is, we are done. So what we need to do is we need to wipe this Phoenix off the map. That'll give us a couple of positive points in our direction, and it will continue our domination. It will continue our positive points accrual, and this is the game right here. This Phoenix needs to not fire at us. If he doesn't fire at us, he is safe. I won't see him, and he can go ahead and capture A and not even worry about it. But there he is. He's sailing closer, trying to take cover behind that island. We use those front 5 guns to, dev strike the floating citadel that is formerly known as Phoenix. And, we take the lead. And now me and the New York just have to stay alive. And that's all we do for the rest of this game. We just kind of float out, let the minute 45 expire out, and we end up taking the win. So guys, that's the video. What did you think? If you like it, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.